In this video, I wanted to talk about some tips on moving to a new city because I know it's a really tough experience and there are so many questions about how to best do it and what it's like. And so I wanted to share the tips that I have and I wish somebody else had told me while I was going through that experience. So last year in April, I moved from San Francisco to New York City, and over the past year, now it's I think been almost a year and a half, I have learned so much, so I wanted to share what I've learned with you today. Okay, so tip number one I have if you're moving to a new city is for you to post on social media about 2 weeks before you actually move. And when I say that, I mean post on Instagram, Facebook, whatever you use, sharing that you're moving to whatever city. So in my case, I posted saying that, hey, I'm moving from SF to New York, can't wait, would love to meet or connect with anyone who is in the area. And I said it in like that's a very formal way to say it, but the point of posting is to basically announce to your entire network that you're going in the hopes that maybe there's someone from college or high school or just like randomly that you've met over your life that is living in that city. And the best case scenario is finding certain people you really love and finding out they live there so that you can set up coffee dates, lunches, dinners, walks, whatever you want to do, and hopefully have like a friend that you can start seeing once you move there so you don't feel as lonely. Or two, another scenario is maybe the connections who reach out to you aren't your closest friends or your best friends, but you can meet up with them. It's nice to see a friendly face in a new city, and then you can ask them if they know anyone who you think might connect with you in a really great way, because I've met some of my best friends through other friends or through other family members, and I think it's always worth finding people who are connected in some way to who you already know to kind of vet who you want to spend your time with. Because truly I feel like one of the hardest things about moving to a new city, if you don't have an existing community in this new city, is building a community. So by posting 2 weeks before you move to the new city, you already have a couple of people that you can plan to meet up with, and it's way less daunting and way less overwhelming when you get to a city and you're not just immediately alone that first weekend. You have some plans backed up with people you know. Okay, so my second tip is knowing who you are and what you like. And to explain this, I wanted to share a little bit of my own story to hopefully help illustrate what I mean by saying know who you are and know what you like. So when I moved from San Francisco to New York City, I immediately fell into the culture of New York lifestyle for my age, which is you go out a lot, you go to new restaurants, you go to bars, you're constantly living this crazy social life, and nights where you end up being out like past 2 or 3 a.m. is kind of normal or like pretty standard here. And I did that for the first 6 months and have no regrets, but in doing that for 6 months, I felt a little off after a while, and I was like, why am I not feeling like completely great in this city? But then I realized I am someone who loves to go out, but it's not what I love to do 3 or 4 days a week. I really love spending time outdoors. I really love going to museums. I really love going to live music or live comedy shows. I love exploring the city through food, but not, you know, needing to go to the fanciest restaurants or like the highest rated Michelin star places. And after 6 months, I reflected and realized I was living a lifestyle that was more New York and less me, and not figuring out who I was and living the Chanel version of New York. And after I changed by intentionally choosing activities or planning my time in ways that were more suited to who I am and what I value, I feel so much better in New York and feel so much more like myself. And I think that's so important because depending on where you're moving, it might be similar to the previous city that you were in, but if it's really different and there's a really different lifestyle or vibe, it's important to know who you are and what you like, and then intentionally spend your time by choosing a neighborhood or an area or activities that really suit you, so that you don't just fall prey to kind of defaulting to whatever that city values or tends to have in terms of their environment. Okay, my last tip for moving to a new city is to actually visit the city if you can. And I know sometimes there are economic situations where you really can't, or potentially you're moving abroad, and so that's quite a long flight and quite a bit of a stretch to go visit, and if you're doing it for a job or for an internship or something. But I really do recommend it if you can, just because by going to the city, even if it's just once, you can actually get a lay of the land, you can get a feel of the neighborhoods or the area, you can get a feel if this is really the right decision, because a lot of cities in theory are just very different than actually living them. And when you visit a city and you're doing like all the touristy exciting things, it can come off in a completely different way than actually living in the city and doing the run-of-the-mill activities like getting coffee or going to work or just like walking around. And I especially think it's important because of where you live and knowing the neighborhoods. If you know people who lived in the area before, if you can't visit, my recommendation is definitely to just ask people to describe the vibes or what certain neighborhoods are like, because your home is your sanctuary and it's just, you spend quite a bit of time there. So it's really, really important to figure out what neighborhood is best for you, and then also understand like costs, budgeting, space, what's normal, what's not. But those are my 3 tips. I hope that was helpful. Would love to hear from you all on anything that I may have missed, or just to hear your experiences of moving to a new city and what you had to deal with, what was great, what maybe wasn't the best. But thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this video, and I hope you have an incredible, amazing day. And if you want to figure out life with me, or you enjoy these videos, please subscribe. I would love it so much. I'm just starting this YouTube channel again, and it's a little tiny one, but every subscriber counts. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.